Cool, man. Next one from Marvin Madruni. Hope I got your name right. Asks, Black Betterment is a steep mountain to climb. What keeps you motivated?
Well, I think we've covered that, but the greater good and seeing progress. Like, I do see progress. Regardless, even though I'm saying things that might seem quite doom and gloom, I see loads of progress. I am the progress, and I contribute my progress to being in groups of constructive people where I've learned something and it's bettered me, and in turn I've bettered others. So I'm seeing it. So the shortcoming is people who haven't seen that. So I'm saying, if you're seeing me as a disciplined brother, know that I'm standing around other disciplined brothers and sisters, and I'm learning from them and they're learning from me, and you could be the same. That's it.
Cool. Next one from Dre Troy Barton asks, where you see yourself in 5 years?
That's a good question. I don't know. I hope everything we're doing is magnified by 5 years, right? And I'm hoping to see. It would be nice if I could make an Afro town, or like a town somewhere where it's got a whole lot of black businesses and people go there to find about African culture.
You're saying like Black Wall Street?
Yeah, well, Afro town.
Yeah. You don't want this one to get bombed up?
No, we don't want to get bombed up this time. We'll have to have like a defense,
okay.
defense plan. You know what I mean? But but nothing's gonna get bombed up. Like, every other group has their own kind of like economic community kind of staple, and I think Afrotown will be amazing. Go there for Nigerian food or Nigerian clothing, West Indian, whatever, Somalian this or whatever. It'll be great.
Yeah, that'll be big stuff.
It'll be amazing. And also having dedicated places where black people can go and find work and be creative or get information. You know what I mean?
All right then. Next one from Gaps A-Town. What's your belief system? Are you a Christian?
Okay, no, I'm not a Christian. There's no religious affiliation I'm with. I respect all of them, whatever, but I'm not affiliated.
That sounded like, when you said you respect all of them and said whatever at the same time, it sounded like you was dissing them.
No, well, I mean, like, because when you talk about religious affiliation, there's so many, so I can't because technically there might be some that I haven't heard of that I'm like, oh, I don't know about that, or whatever. But what I'm saying is, the principle of actually trying to belong to something to get discipline and structure, I support that concept, right? I value discipline, right? And if you're part of a spiritual group that gives you that and grounds you and actually cleans you up and makes you very constructive, I'm going to support that. But when it comes to actually picking something, like I said, I'm the biggest person who values the answer I don't know. Okay. So if you want me to follow something, everything you tell me I have to believe. And if there's certain things I don't understand, I don't know. So I can value the constructive stuff from it, but I can't necessarily engulf it fully because I don't know. So you could say I'm still on that journey to find the truth within myself.
Well, has anyone talked to you, like, and tried to encourage you to join any particular religion?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, I've been studying faith and religion for like, I probably started way before I started doing Black Betterment Building. So yeah, deep, like, you know, of course. And you found some wonderful things, some things there's confusion, and you keep moving.
So, ain't you never felt compelled to declare yourself? No, why not? Don't know. I'm the kind of person I like to, if I can, I like to know things. And if I feel I don't know them, then I find it hard to affiliate with things I don't necessarily know. But don't get me wrong. So would you feel like people that's in religion now, no, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to sound like I'm trying to move to anyone's stuff.
Say what you have to say, bro.
See, like he's saying, you couldn't join on religion because you ask questions and you don't know.
These people who are part of whatever faith they are, they've probably asked us questions and they do know. So if you ask them, they know. They know what I don't know. And that's why they're comfortable in what they're doing.
So no one ain't been able to explain to you the questions that you've had? No. Give me some of them.
I mean, it could be something like, you know, where are we from? You know, why are we here? What's the purpose?
What's the most common answers you get back from? What's the purpose of life?
Well, it's the same, isn't it?
Worship.
Worship. You point where no, there's a deity and a deity loves you and kind of stuff like that. So.
And what, you don't believe that's true?
I don't know. That's
you just don't know.
It's a great answer, isn't it? I don't know. But it's a very empowering answer for me. So ask me, Jerome, what do you think about this? I go, I just don't know. But I would like to know.
Yeah.
So if you can sit down and let me know, that'd be great. But so far, no one's been
how it's been explained to you doesn't make sense to you.
I've heard no explanation for like bigger, deep questions that makes any sense to me at all.
Okay.
At all. But don't get me wrong. I could potentially be part of a religious group if it was constructive for black people. So if there's a religious group out there that's very constructive and it makes sense, then I could do it, right? Because it's constructive. But what
about Nation of Islam? What about Nation of Islam?
Yeah, I could potentially join that. I could join any constructive black movement, and not.
But you won't be joining it for the spirituality, though.
So, because I wouldn't know.
Okay.
I'll be suspending disbelief, right? That's what I'll be doing, isn't it?
So ain't that phony though?
But if you don't know, you're looking at the greater good, aren't you? Like, some people might argue there's some things you might never know. So to be bogged down with the question of trying to know something that you can never know.
But no, I'm saying because to join some of these religions, don't you have to declare that you believe certain things?
Then I won't be able to, then, will I?
Okay.
If that was like, if you don't feel to be part of a religion, you have to say you believe this and you don't know it, then I wouldn't.
Then you can't be.
I wouldn't make sense. Like, this is a genuine truth. Like, I couldn't join it, could I?
Okay.
Unless they explain, but it means just go, I never saw it that way. Yeah, I believe in that.
Yeah. Cool. They also ask who inspires you the most. I swear I asked that already.
Yeah, you asked that already, bro.
Yeah.
Me. I inspire me the most. And that's a very good answer. And I'm hoping one day everyone can say the same thing back. That they are their own inspiration.
The next one from Marvin Majuni. What are the top obstacles the black community needs to overcome to move forward?
Self-hate. We need to we have to identify self-hate. Now, I know it sounds horrible, but if I'm talking to black people and the first thing they're talking about is other people, I'm pushing it as self-hate. I know it sounds...
what do you mean when the first thing they talk about is other people?
So if I'm saying black people, we recognise we're in a condition and we should come together to fix it. If I'm talking to black people and the first thing they say is, well, what about these other people joining us and helping us? I'm identifying as self-hate, because for you to then take yourself out of that equation, it's not normal. You know, it's almost like...
So why would you say that's hate though? Is it how do you define hate?
Because it's like this, right?
Now, what's your definition of hate?
Where a strong dislike, or you're doing something that isn't to your betterment, you know, whatever. As in,
I wouldn't say doing something that's not to your betterment is hate. I wouldn't call that hate still. A strong dislike, yeah. I'm with
what
that.
is it then? If you don't have a strong hate for yourself, like
no, I'm not saying you don't have a strong hate for yourself. But I'm saying defining hate as doing something that's what did you say? Not constructive for yourself.
Yeah. So if you're doing something,
I would say that's a definition of hate, though.
Well, you have to look at the context. The context is within you and other groups, right?
Yeah.
So some people put other groups on a pedestal without knowing it. Yeah. So by definition, that could be seen as a form of self-hate, right? Because you haven't put yourself on equal footing to everyone else. It's like this: if I'm a black man, right, and I say I don't like black women,
it might be that.
No, if I'm a black man, and I say I don't find black women attractive.
Yeah.
That could be described as self-hate, because technically, my sister looks like me, my mother looks like me, and I could be born looking like me. Like the woman I don't find attractive, right?
Like the only reason I wouldn't say hate is because hate is something like I would say that you don't rate yourself, like you don't admire yourself. I wouldn't say it's the same thing as like saying you don't love something isn't the same as saying you hate it. I don't think it's even love or hate. You know what I'm saying?
Right, you can push it that way. I mean, and that's cool. I mean, for me, I'm very black and white in certain areas, and
that's one of them. You're black and white. Well, I'm trying to give you some new information. I don't know if you considered this before.
No, and that's cool. But the perspective I'm going from is like I don't know. It's like I think it's very necessary to. I don't think it's necessary to have certain words like self dislike, like. For me, self-hate, innit? Self could be better. No, it's self-hate.
So you feel the need...
You make open confessions about certain things.
But now it sounds like you feel the need to make this phrase apply.
No, I don't know what you're referring to, your own personal thing, but I'm saying if I'm talking to a black person, right?
I'm saying regardless of...
Let me show you. So I'm talking to a black person, right? I'm going, yeah, bro, look at the condition of black people. And they're like, yeah, I agree. I'm bad. I've gone through so much hell. I go, yeah. And I'm like, you know what, bro? Let's come together and work on this issue. If the first thing they say is, can I bring up my non-black friends, right? And can they get this as well? But I go, bro, we just spoke 2 hours about black people going through hell. So why are you talking about other people outside of yourselves? You see?
Yeah.
Like what? And I'm saying
that's fucked up still. I agree with you. That's fucked up.
But I'm interpreting that as a form of self-hate, meaning there's other people groups that you're placing above yourself, right? And I can only see that as you could say it's not a self-love, all right? But what's the opposite of love?
Caring for something, having a deep caring for something.
Opposite of love is hate.
Oh, what's the opposite of
it? What's the opposite of love?
Yeah, hate.
There you go. So I'm just going there.
Yeah, the logic don't make sense to me still, because it don't mean that it's the opposite of love. Just because you ain't loving something, it don't mean that you hate it.
Oh yeah, but you have to have the context, and the context is we're breaking people down into groups, right?
Yeah.
And if you're talking to me about you...
That's what I'm saying. So right now it seems like you're putting the need to put someone in a group over the reality of the situation.
Well, the reality of the situation is they've identified within themselves that they're going through hardship, right?
Yeah.
And something needs to be done.
Yeah.
And as soon as I talk about what we can do to benefit that,
you should highlight that, something's fucked up within you. Something's wrong within you, that when you want to talk about developing yourself, that you want to talk about not yourself.
Yeah, but
something's wrong with you.
But it's not to say like I'm talking to a person who's doing really well, really rich. He comes from a really rich community. And I talk to him, the first thing he goes like, brother, let's help, the poor people. This is a person who's going through the worst, or they identify as going through the worst. Yeah. But yet, they're still putting others before their need, even though they know that other people groups are doing better than them. And not only that, potentially contribute to their wrongdoings, isn't it? To where they're at.
Yeah.
I'm identifying that as self-hate.
See, that's the only place where I fall out of line still, is like, everything up to that point makes sense to me. But I don't see the logic as why you feel the need to label that as hate, self-hate. Because how I understand hate, unless your definition is different to me, is when you something, when you consciously study this thing and you despise it, like you physically, like you're aware of it.
I'm glad you said that.
That you hate it.
I'm glid you said that awareness. So that's where the confusion came, because I'm saying that people can do things without being aware.
Yeah. They could still.
And that's where I'm going.
They could still.
Yeah, conscious.
But you're gonna have to show me how that would translate into hate.
For example, if I'm a black man and I stand up and go, you know what, bruv? It's all about non-black women. I don't touch it if it ain't non-black, right? Obviously people don't talk that way, but let's just say it, right? You change the words around, right? And they're happy as can be, and they're saying that with so much confidence because they know that black women are ugly. They know it. Yeah, it's like, of course, right? But they don't necessarily see that as a form of self-hate, as in like, you're a black man.
When man says black women are ugly, that's hate, fam.
But I'm saying from their perspective, they don't see it, right?
Oh, they don't see it.
They don't see it as they actually hate themselves. They don't see it.
But that's what I'm saying.
Do they see it as like, I could have been born a woman, my mum's a woman, my sister's a woman.
Let me see where, because I don't think you apply that same logic when you say, when I heard you say as well, when you want to talk about black people bettering themselves or coming together to do something, our next person will say that means you want to kill white people.
That's not self-hate. That's something different. But you talk about some different situation.
Yeah, but I'm saying how people make that correlation to just because you want to do something for one people
doesn't mean it
means you got something bad for someone else.
But if a black man confesses that he will not be with a black woman because he finds her grotesque, right? Yeah. They just cannot compete with the beauty of the non-black woman, right? And that person is black. Therefore, they could have been born female.
See.
So I'm identifying
you have to pinpoint like one. If you say if that they find the black woman role, what do you say? Grotesque.
Yeah.
I'll say hey, that's a self-hate thing. But if you didn't say that and you just said they can't compete with the beauty of this other woman, I wouldn't say that's self-hate.
Oh, of course.
I would say they just rate that other person.
I would say they've engaged in creative marketing techniques where they're not saying certain things.
That's what you was doing earlier, telling me to do.
Yeah, but that's what they're doing, isn't it? It's like, but
it might be, but I'm saying ain't gonna call it something unless I can see it, innit? Unless I can identify.
If a man, listen, love who you want, love. It's not for me to say. But what I'm saying, if a man's confessing out publicly, like he only messes with non-black women, and he's black as right, and he can't stand women who's black as Daisy Spade, yeah, then I'm identifying that self-hate, and I would say Healy's Black Betterment Building to improve it. I wouldn't even faffle with like maybe.
I'm with you because you said you don't want to do nothing with. I think he sees black women as something. Yeah. I think he said something negative. I can't remember. Yeah, but I'm saying. Like,
but even if he only talk, even if his confession is, I love non-black women, right? Yeah. And that's what he talks about.
I love non-black women.
Yeah, I love non-black women.
Even that's a bit.
Pick a group who he likes, right? And he's a black brother who he never looks at women, black people who like him in any kind of like area of greatness or whatever, right? Yeah. I would identify that self-hate. It's not normal for you to be from a people group and not see them as beauty. Something has to have happened in the psychology or your upbringing where you have been conditioned to see people who look like you.
Because when I say hate, I feel like man's trying to stifle them or something, like you're trying to do something negative to them. That's when I think of hate. That's what I think of.
Yeah, because you're going. I get that.
I feel like I feel like it's a dislike is what you're demonstrating.
No, I don't.
I feel like dislike is different to. Because you don't want to say they got self-dislike or something like that. You don't want to say that because it don't sound right.
I don't want to go deeper than thing, bro. But
sexy language.
But it's like this, right? If you're a black brother, and you refuse to be with a black woman, right? Yeah. There is a knock-on effect that has collectively of the group, innit? We're seeing this, innit, right? Yeah. So that's why I can use strong words like hate, because of what happens after that, innit? If many brothers collectively are not loving black women, so they don't find them attractive at all, right? Some kind of hate is going to happen from that if you can't see that. Some hateful reaction will happen from that.
Tell me. I don't know.
So, all right. So you're gonna have a distrust between black men and black women, aren't you? Because you're gonna have maybe one people group, one woman, the black women, who have a dedicated love for black men, but it's
gonna be problems still. It's gonna be problems still,
right?
It is problems.
It is okay. So now we're getting somewhere. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And this is not love. This is hate. Now, I'm not here to tell you who you should and shouldn't love. Love who you want, right?
That's the only place I'm not with you, but it's like
because
you can. It's like you're saying it has to be one or the other.
What do you mean?
Because you said this is not love, therefore it's hate.
I'm saying
if a man confesses, like that, it's not love.
If a man confesses,
I'm with you on that. If he confesses that he don't like black women, they don't.
Yeah. But what you're saying is, if he only talks about loving non-black women, but he never talks about loving black women, I'm putting that down to self-hate as well.
You're saying that's self-hate?
I'm saying, I suspect it. Remember, this is a very important word. I suspect of self-hate.
Okay, suspect.
And I suspect if I was to prod out certain questions, I'll get a certain answer from my experience.
Yeah.
And
you might be right then.
I'm pretty certain.
All I'm saying is I want to see the evidence. I'm like you, I like asking questions until...
Well, what I'll do is, when I'm talking on camera and it comes up, I'm going to look at the camera and go, and you're going to go, oh yeah, that's what you're talking about.
Okay.
You know.
See, no, I'm going to look out for that
stuff. There you go, fam. There you go.
What was that? That was the obstacles that we need to overcome. You said self-hate. Well, sort of.
So, self-hate. Was it self-hate? Yeah, boy, we were around that one, the obstacles, the self-hate, global racism, we can't look past that. You know, structured domination and stuff. You know, there is a dedicated effort that seems to be affecting black people collectively. That's two. And what's the obstacle?
Would you say that dedicated effort to do what? To undermine black people?
Yeah, there's a dedicated effort.
Would you say that's solely the purpose, or that's the effect of whatever their ultimate goal is?
I don't want to say there and there. I'm saying that, you know, every time I see black people doing something, there seems to be some kind of like force against it.
Okay, so you ain't necessarily trying to identify who that force is or what their motives are. You're just recognizing that as black people, these things happen to us.
I don't have all the information on why. So I can have hypotheses and stuff, but I can't tell you what. I know it's happening, isn't it? So
that's your concern.
That's my concern. I mean,
why it's happening? That's not so much.
Well, there's theories out there. There's theories. Like,
I'm saying, but is that your concern as well?
It is a concern, but I'm a tangible guy, right? So
You don't want to dwell too much on it because you can't produce the...
I can't, so I'm going to move on. And the final thing is not having a code of conduct. That's our biggest obstacle. It's probably the biggest.
So how do you develop? How do you go about developing one?
Well, you establish a way of existing that's going to minimize anxiety and hatred. So that's why I run a forum, and we don't talk about homosexuality, miscegenation, and religion. Not that we can't talk about these things. These things are important to talk about, but not when you're trying to get people to join a group.
Okay.
Yeah. You have to have special classes if you want to talk about stuff. I'm more concerned about, building communities, learning, teaching, history, whatever, right? But not straight away talking about miscegenation, homosexuality, and whose religion is real. These are the things that causes the most anxiety.
What's misogyny mean again?
It's where
putting down women.
No, where miscegenation is where I said miscegenation, right? That's yeah. It's where different identifiable racial groups start mating, having children, or dating and stuff.
Okay.
So, in a sense, non-black people with black people, whatever.
Mixed race relationships.
Yeah, relationships. So
mixing of the races. You don't talk about that.
No, we don't. It's off code.
What you say? What's the big word for that?
Miscegenation.
Miscegenation.
Miscegenation. You may even wonder if I'm even saying it right now. Yes, miscegenation.
I ain't never heard that before. Still.
Yeah, it was a law. It was a law in many countries. It still is in some countries.
So why have you chosen not to talk about those things?
Because they cause the most anxiety. So identifying things that
homosexuality
causes tons of anxiety. So we don't talk about
homosexuality,
miscegenation, and religion. These three things. There's also one more, which is women's hair, but that's another thing, right? But these
that ain't banned though. They ain't banned.
It's not banned, but I'm saying when you talk about it, you gotta be very cautious. But it doesn't get talked about. But those first three. Yeah. When people join groups, that's the first thing people want to talk about. They want to talk about homosexuality, miscegenation.
Why do you think that is?
Because people have, or each one's a different story in it. Religion, people think that this is the right religion. If you're not doing it, you're going to hell, and it's the right way to be. Some people feel that you shouldn't date certain people. Some people you should date certain people.
Why do you feel people are so passionately connected to these issues, topics?
Because they feel it affects people collectively. So people think that religion, if you don't pick the right religion, then you're going to go down the wrong path. If you're not picking the same race person, then you're going to go down the wrong path. And if you're a homosexual, then you're not going to have any path to go down at all because you're not having children. So they always kind of stuff people think, innit? And I'm not saying these are good questions, innit? But when you're trying to get black people together, you have to identify the high anxiety language that's causing the fight, innit? Go look at the park, innit? Look at they start talking about religion. It's just, do you ever see them conclude? Do you ever at the end of a discussion and go, you know what? Yes, I'm now Christian. Yes, I'm no longer gay. Yes, I'm going to leave my white wife. Do you ever see that? You ain't going to see that, right? So it's about being practical, isn't it? Like, I'm not saying these are very big issues, but they're not big issues when you're trying to get people to come together. Because all other people groups don't fight about those kind of stuff or even have big debates at all. Like at all. But black people, there's a need to talk about this stuff.
So what you're saying, you believe that we can still have our beliefs on these topics and still work together?
Of course, 100%. 100%.
Okay.
And I'm demonstrating that in the groups anyway. But there are people from different walks of life in there. We've got different partners, different whatever. Being constructive. You don't need to focus on these things that allegedly divide us. They're important, but these are individuals, right? And you can have your opinion, but also train people how to actually get their opinions out there without contributing to anxiety.
Yeah. You're saying we need that training there. Like?
Of course, and I give that training. I give that training how to communicate without.
When you go to the park, you don't do that so much, though, do you?
Train.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard because people talk to me, so it's hard. Well, I try to be a walking lesson, innit? So if you can look at how I am, then you go, okay, well, he's not doing that.
As the problems arise, you just deal with it.
Yeah, so you can analyze me and go, okay, I think that's quite constructive. I don't think that's going to work or whatever. But yeah, if you're in the group and I meet you, I'm constantly trying to get people on code, innit? Like, and it either works or it doesn't. You come to my forums, see how people interact, and go to other forums and go, oh, I've noticed that, in his forum there's no swear words, there's no...
What's wrong with swear words?
No swear words.
What's wrong with them? What's wrong?
Well...
Why do you call them swear words?
Well, you can call them naughty words. Call them what you want, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, why, yeah.
Why do I call them swear, or why don't I let people do them?
Yeah, why?
Because people come from different walks of life, so we don't understand the limitations. So we know it's possible not to swear. So we're asking that when you're doing black belt and building within the groups I run, you don't do that. Because your grandma might be prone to swearing, but this woman's grandma isn't prone to swearing, and everyone is able to join a black belt group. So we think about them. Maybe a 15-year-old, their parents don't want them to hear swear words. The question is, what value do you place on these words? You know what I mean? There's a value in giving yourself a limitation for the betterment, the collective betterment of your people.
Yeah.
There's a value there, right? So even though you might effing blind in the studio or when you're at home, I'm saying that when you're in a group that's been dedicated to being constructive, you have to argue, you have to push forward like, I think swearing is constructive, innit? And we have to debate that, you know what I mean? But I do have a one group that's called Off Code, and people go in there and they can say what they want. They can post naked pictures, they can dance around like an elephant.
Anything goes.
Anything goes.
What happens in that group?
Nothing. They realize that they just talk, innit? So anytime someone goes off on code, I go, bruv, if you don't go off on code, come in this group and talk about what you want.
People wanna they wanna do it in the room that says, do not do this.
Yeah, that's them. But like I said, when you join anything I'm doing, I give people like a guideline, innit? And it's like, if you agree to it, then I can actually talk to you like, brother, sister, before you join, we said you can't be doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you're doing it. So
I'm gonna jump in the off-code room still.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna go in there with the intention of doing anything like fucked up. It's just,
you can see, yeah.
It's just I don't like.
I got a message today saying thank you, bro, from the off code. It says, today I realized that in the off code I have so much more in common with the people who I thought I didn't have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for this particular brother, it was actually very constructive. Because they all went there for the same reason, religion. My religion's real, your religion's not real, innit?
That's why they're talking about an off-code run.
It changes. It might be about anything. It's off-code, bro. Do what you want. You can go there and start talking about aliens or whatever.
Yeah.
It's off-code. Do what you want.
Yeah.
I'm not responsible for that.
No effort in blinding in the other ones, though.
Huh?
No effort in blinding in the other ones.
No, you can't do that. No.
Coming from the guy who was effing and blinding in the park.
This guy. It's this guy.
Come on, fam.
Makes him feel good.
As Rico said it. I was like, yo, after he called my aunt. Raven was in the comments like, yo, stay on call, family. Cussing never, name calling never works. Rico's like, whatever, fam. Coming from the guy who's effing and blinding in the park. Next one's from Extremely Balanced TV.
Right.
You know him?
Yeah, he's the Muslim brother. He's got his own channel.
Yeah. Hassan. He says, what's your African identity? Kemet, Rasta, Nubian, etc., etc.
I support all of them. Anything, if you call it anything that is...
Now, what's your identity?
All of them and none of them. Like, you know.
Yeah.
It's you know, all of them and none of them. Whatever.
Okay.
You know, I'm Pan-Africanist. You know, I want to see black people do better. I'm a black betterment builder. That's what I am. I'm a black betterment builder. That's my identity.
All right. Next one from SLM TV. What long-term movement or society lasted without being interwoven with a spiritual system?
Right, so let me just put this to rest, right? So let me give you analogies that might make sense, right? So, black people are PCs, yeah? Black people are PCs.
What's that mean?
This is an analogy. So, when you think of a black person, think of them as a PC, yeah? A personal computer. Okay. Think of religion, yeah, as the operating system, Windows, OS, Android, yeah? You follow me?
Okay.
Yeah? Think of black betterment building as Chrome. You see Chrome?
Yeah.
Yeah, Google Chrome. It works on all of them, innit? It works on all the operating systems and it can work on all the Macs. So black people are Macintoshes, their spiritual system or their belief system is the operating system, and black betterment building is Chrome. And it works on all of them. You can have your operating system and still use Chrome, and then you can use Chrome to search for the truth. There you go.
Yeah, so I don't think you answered these questions.
That's the question, bro. That's the answer.
That's the way you're gonna answer it, yeah.
Yeah. Because
let me ask it one more time still.
Go on.
And see if you feel your answer was sufficient. And what long-term movement or society lasted without being interwoven with a spiritual system?
So,
I know you give it sounds like you give an example that black people can.
Yeah,
last. That's basically what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. So if he wants example,
he's asking you to give actual examples.
Example of one that hasn't. I would argue that
has without any spiritual system interwoven into it.
It's really hard to because once again, this spiritual word, it has many interpretations, right? Living in
I think this brother's at SLM TV. He's a Moorish Muslim.
Oh, I found another brother. Yeah. So spirituality could be like living in harmony with the universe or whatever, or with nature, right? And do you know what I'm saying? So when you use the word spiritual, you know, maybe you can't escape that word, right? By whoever's defining it. So I don't know. But like I said, brother, if anyone can pinpoint a spiritual practice that works for black people and it's true, whatever that means, then whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, this next one's from Ahmed.
Right.
He asks, the G circle seems like a working communal concept rooted primarily around the well-being of gang-influenced youths. How is this going to bring about change on a national and global scale for the empowerment of blacks as a people? Furthermore, how do you expect to free the individuals who idolize the very systems of oppression that they are being constricted to, i.e., you are a product of your environment and therefore this is what you ought to be chasing after? Like, his question goes on for long, so let me finish the rest of it. The current secular system and the society has molded into is to simply follow, let me start again. The current secular system and the society has molded into,
Let me stop you there. I remember reading that. I swear it concludes with follow Islam or something, right? I swear it ends with like follow Islam or something like that, right?
Let me see one sec.
Well, that's just the conclusion.
It says the mere conjecture the black people need, what humanity needs are working systems, disciplines, guidance, morality, communication. This is why my sincere advice to a black brother is to study Islam.
So he could have just went there straight away. He didn't have to do the whole you know, epic drama or whatever. He could just went, bruv, study Islam. I go, okay, cool, all power to you, isn't it? You're probably right. I don't know. I mean, that's not a question. He's giving me a direction, so I can't really. I go, if it works, well done. You know, that's not really a question.
Yeah.
You know.
I thought that's what his answer was to the question, right? He probably wants to air your one still.
I don't know how to answer
the first part, let me just go back over the first
part.
Go
to this the first two lines, because it's like 20...
The G-Circle seems like a working communal concept rooted primarily around the well-being of gang-influenced youths. How is this going to bring about change on a national and global scale for the empowerment of black people as a whole?
What he's asking is, by working on the youth who are in gun culture, how's that going to impact black people on a bigger scale?
Yeah.
Well, I think if we push, say, gang culture, let's say pretend it's youth culture, right? By having the youth doing something more constructive, something that they can actually do without actually being arrested and can actually pass down to their children, officially, whatever, then when they grow up, they can actually have means in it. And by guiding them to be dedicated, from my standpoint, dedicated into Black Betterment building, being dedicated, then there's a structure in place that you'll see as the generations go by. So it starts with going to the marginalised groups. And let's say the youth, because the youth are the future, right? You know?
True.
Yeah, old people will die one day, so the youth take over. And if they've got a mentality from yesteryear that wasn't constructive, then they're going to enter their old dimension, whatever, their old year, whatever, as non-constructive.
Alright, this is next one from C.A. Levy. He asks, what will be the main focus of the betterment efforts in 2018/19? raising capital, investing, increasing political representation, alliances across the diaspora or other?
Yeah, so that's next year, right? So yeah, I would say they're all good points, trying to get political representation, trying to get connections with people black people across the world. For me, what I'm trying to do is actually trying to get, it's more simple really, I'm trying to get all technical people together. I'm trying to get a collection of technically talented black engineers, developers, HTML programmers and so forth to come together to make tangible apps, softwares that actually is dedicated to unifying black people. So anytime you need something, you can just go on wherever this black app might be and find them. And it connects black people globally. I think it's very possible, like black app or something, I don't know. So that I'm trying to find people to do. That's what I'll be doing next year. Yeah, next year, which is a couple of months, 2 months.
Alright, cool, man. Last one I got here still is from H. Ali, and he asks, have you ever been to Africa before? If so, where?
I went to Egypt, so I think everyone's been to Egypt, right? I was going to go Congo, but I couldn't get time off. I'm planning to go either somewhere in the east, so it might be Uganda or Kenya, and maybe Nigeria. That's the plan to go. But I've only been in Egypt.
Okay. Alright, well, I don't know if there's any questions that I didn't ask that you saw there that you remember.
You asked most of them, to be honest, man. I mean, unless there's a question you want to ask, like, this is a burning question that I really want to ask you this question. Like, you've asked everything, yeah?
Off the top of the dome, yeah, I feel like I asked everything still. I don't know, but I might kick myself after you leave, man. Because I know there's something else that you probably want to get into. Let me know if there's anything you want to get into before I wrap up the thing.
I kind of think, bro, you know, all I'm saying is, the only thing I'm trying to change is if you see me and you think that what I'm doing is non-constructive, right, then come have a word with me, innit? If you see me out there, come talk to me, because I'm truly convinced that what I'm saying is very constructive and very necessary. I don't think there's no controversial thing that I'm saying at all. I think it's just simple, innit? Black people being dedicated to helping black people. And also, before I forget, the things I'm trying to get people to do, I'm trying to start a co-unity spend, so I'm trying to get all the names of black businesses and then having people systematically shop there, right? So I'm trying to get names of black businesses, and once you do that, I want to have like annual kind of shopping sprees where black people collectively go to certain establishments and shop by a minimum of one product. And this is like something we do. First it'll become training, not training, but I would say more like a festive training, I should say. And then hopefully after doing that, it becomes psychological. Like you always think, where can I go and spend my money and spend the black pound, whatever, or the black dollar, or wherever you are. And everything I'm doing your country. And then when you build up and we build up, we start trading, talking and changing and stuff, innit? It makes sense.
Alright, yeah, one more store. What problems have you identified from the black people that you've seen in the park that you feel you could offer some type of solution to?
Me personally, I think a lot of the people I speak to, there's something going on inside their life outside of what they're there. So they might be there giving dawah, they might be pushing some new kind of life philosophy, but deep down there's some issues that they've gone through in their past, like shortcomings, right? It could be relationships, it could be parents, it could be, I don't know, not having a father figure around. And I'm not saying I have all the answers, but there are people I'm around who can actually maybe help. And, you know, and I feel that by answering those, changing those challenges they have, they might be able to do everything else to do better. And maybe they might actually be more affiliated with black people. I don't know.
All right, man. Boy, like I said, if you got anything else to add after that, we're done, you know.
We're good, man. Thanks for inviting me, brother. Yeah, I'm sure there's tons of things, but ask in the comments, innit? I'll be there.
Yeah, yeah.
Later, you know, it was good.
I say nothing, fam.
Boom.
Raven.
Boom.
Specific. But done.
Done. Hey.